Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today we are going to be continuing with the highly anticipated and well-received What If Vegeta Had Rebelled Early. Now originally this was called What If the Three Saiyans Rebelled, but I decided that What If Vegeta Rebelled Early was better for the name. So I just want to thank you all so much for the support on this one. There were so many comments of people telling me to do the next part as soon as possible, so it was just amazing. Thank you all. And also, we have a lot of new subscribers and viewers thanks to the help of Plus Ultraman. So I hope you newcomers enjoy my content going forward, and go check out Plus Ultraman if you haven't already. But anyway, let's get into the recap of the first part. So, Vegeta decided that he was fed up taking orders from Frieza, and with the help of Nappa, Raditz, and a few Zenkai boosts, he managed to surpass Zarbon and take his spot as second in command of Frieza's army. He got his own team of elites including Nappa, but left Raditz behind even though he was qualified to join the team, simply because he was low class. Raditz was furious and decided to head off toward Earth, due to the help of the elite that he had previously fought. Now, we've come to continue this story. Raditz crash lands on Earth 12 months after his departure. The pod scrapes across a barn, narrowly missing it and hitting the ground. In case any of you are wondering why it's landing in a slightly different location, is because the Earth rotates, because it is indeed round. A farmer walks outside of his house with a firearm in hand, inspecting the pod. Raditz steps out of it and asks the farmer if he knows his brother Kakarot, to which the farmer replies no, aiming the gun at Raditz's head, shaking. Raditz simply tells the farmer that he is not there to hurt him, and flies off in a random location, because in this case, he doesn't have his scouter, as he knows they are too easy to track. He, out of sheer luck, finally finds his target at his home with a bald man, a small boy, and a woman. Then suddenly, the two grown men stop their sparring, and look toward the great energy. Raditz touches the ground and looks directly at his brother, and stares at this man in shock, but Goku stares in curiosity. Goku then asks, "Who are you?" To which Raditz replies with, "Kakarot, I am your brother." And he explains everything about the Saiyans and how his name is really Kakarot and not Goku. Goku is shocked by this, like originally, but understands what Raditz says. Krillin, however, is skeptical, and asks why he came to Earth. The Saiyan then tells the full story of how he and two other Saiyans have just been serving under Frieza and the rebellion, and how he needed to get away from them, as they just thought he was scum. Raditz then asks how Goku ended up befriending the Earth's inhabitants, to which Goku explains everything about his grandfather, and Bulma, and King Piccolo, and Ten Shinhan, and all that. But then he tells him what has happened within the last few months. The peace was not kept, even though Raditz had arrived late. When Goku and the gang met up on Kame House for the reunion, Piccolo was growing restless, and sensing all those energies in one place, including Goku's, made him yearn for another fight with him. He appeared on Kame House and instantly incapacitated Krillin, stating that he knows he can't win a 2-on-1 fight. He tells Goku that they need to fight or he will kill everyone there, so he flies off toward a wasteland area, and Goku, after giving Gohan to Bulma and checking on Krillin, follows him. They both spar a bit with their weights on, but Piccolo eventually tells him to cut the crap and tears off his own weights, with Goku once again following suit. They go really close for a while, but Piccolo is throwing everything he has into the mix. He manages to get Goku down onto the ground late into the fight and charges a special beam cannon, but isn't able to do it for long. When he sees Goku getting back up, knowing that the technique isn't fully perfected, he immediately goes in for the kill, but his arm is grabbed by someone from behind, causing him to only graze Goku's shoulder. The mystery warrior punches Piccolo in the face and is revealed to be none other than Ten Shinhan. The three-eyed warrior and his small companion attempt to hold off Piccolo until Goku can regain his energy. Since Piccolo is weakened, Ten Shinhan is right on his level, and Chaozu is there to hold him down with his telekinesis so Ten Shinhan can attack Piccolo without being stopped. Chaozu's effect, however, wears off, and Piccolo swings back with a deadly blow to Ten Shinhan's chest, knocking him back. Goku then jumps up from behind and kicks Piccolo down. The two continue their fight heavily injured, but eventually Goku ends up barely winning. After this, Goku decides that he needs to get back into training, because if you remember, Goku actually had to support his family during the time skip, whereas Piccolo trained the entire time. Goku needs to win easier next time, so he continues to train with Krillin. Back in a now, just as Goku finishes explaining, a small man in a flying car arrives at the scene. It's none other than Yajirobe, who brings a message. He tells him that Korin says Kami wants to speak to the Z-Fighters because it's urgent. Yajirobe tells them that he'll be going as well, so Goku tells Krillin to go collect the rest of the Z-Fighters, while he shows Raditz how to get up to Kami's tower. They both fly as Goku explains who Kami is as well, and they pass by Korin's tower where the Senzu beans are located. Raditz and Goku arrive, and Kami immediately tells them the situation without waiting for the others. Goku, I'm afraid the Earth is being approached by two massive energies in space pods. This shocks the tall Saiyan, as the question of how he was followed runs through his mind. They will be here in less than 8 months, so I suggest you train vigorously. If you're wondering why they're arriving in 8 months instead of 12, just wait a bit and I'll explain. Raditz is still winded by how they managed to follow him, and he tells Goku that these are definitely the two Saiyans, Vegeta and Nappa. Just then, the rest of Earth's warriors arrives, and Kami re-explains. The god tells them that they will train under him, and since Goku has already passed his training and Raditz is far beyond their reach, they will have to train elsewhere. Goku bids farewell to his friends and heads off back to his home with Raditz. Goku truly introduces Raditz to his wife and child before they begin training, and Chi-Chi is kinda suspicious about him, but Gohan loves having such a big strong uncle. Now cut to the wasteland, and Piccolo is being communicated with by Kami, who tells him exactly what's going down, and how he may need to help if things go south. Piccolo is extremely reluctant, but he knows he has no choice if it comes down to who will rule Earth. And with that, training begins. Now time to tell you about why the Saiyans are coming to Earth. Remember that warrior from the first part? Well, since he was an elite, he was fairly well respected, and he was really sympathetic to Raditz and wanted to keep his word to not let anyone know where Raditz had gone. When Vegeta started looking for Raditz, the warrior had a plan to temporarily damage every pod in the whole ship. He had to hire someone who knew about the pod structure to damage the insides of the pods with the creation of a switch. When Vegeta realizes the warrior was the last one to see Raditz, he pins him against the wall, threatening him to tell him exactly where he went. The warrior is scared at first, but becomes fearless after telling them Raditz was definitely going to Earth. Vegeta thanks him sarcastically, letting him go and calling Nappa to handle this fool. As Vegeta walks toward his pod, the warrior takes out a switch, pressing it, causing the pod to malfunction along with every other pod in the ship. The warrior smirks and crushes the switch under his boot. Vegeta tells Nappa to step aside and places his hand through the warrior's gut. His life fades out and Vegeta yells in anger. He gets every scientist available on the ship to work on the pod so that way they can go after Raditz. Because he is in fact second in command, so he would have that authority. It took a few months as the scientists were working on every pod and not just their two. Vegeta knows exactly why Raditz left, and he plans to pay him back for leaving. But now, let's get into how strong everyone would be. So with Kami training taking place, Raditz and Goku would visit every now and then to train with them, so their numbers should be relatively the same in terms of boosting, especially since they had 4 extra months to train before Raditz came. Speaking of which, here are their power levels when Raditz first arrives. Raditz is at 6,400, Goku is at 500, Piccolo is at 480, Tenshinhan is at 300, Krillin is at 250, Yamcha is at 200, Yajirobe is at 150, and Chaozu is at 100. Now, before we finally get into the Saiyan arrival, I want to talk about Gohan and Raditz. I think Gohan would enjoy having such a smart, strong uncle, as I stated before, who can help him with his homework and other stuff like that. Raditz would be disappointed that the boy wouldn't train, because he knows he would make a fine warrior, but he understands. Over this year as well, since Raditz would have spent a lot of time wandering off, I think he would have at some point went to collect the Dragon Balls for Bulma. This may have led him to meeting up with the Pilaf gang at some point. The Pilaf gang would have still been hunting for the Dragon Balls and ran into Raditz. Raditz would have taken the Dragon Ball and told him to scram, but Pilaf wouldn't relent, as he never does. This would cause a struggle between the 4 Dragon Ball hunters. Shu would strike with his katana, but Raditz would block and shatter it with his hand. Mai would draw her gun and attempt to shoot at Raditz, but Raditz would catch the bullet and flick it elsewhere. Raditz would smirk and tell them that he likes their spirit, but that they should definitely back off if they know what's best for them. Mai would see Raditz and be really impressed with how great his power is, everything like that. Raditz would take the ball and fly off, leaving the Pilaf gang to stay there. The Pilaf gang would instantly head towards the next ball, knowing there's competition, and see Raditz again. Raditz and Mai, seeing each other several times, take a liking to each other, and I think after the last ball is collected, Raditz would ask her on a date. And by the time of the Saiyan arrival, they have fallen in love, but they're not married. This might be a little bit awkward for Goku at first, as Mai is part of the Pilaf gang, who always hunted him down as a kid. But once Goku finds out Raditz is in love with her, he doesn't really mind and actually takes a liking to her. So now, let's get into the group's power levels post-training. Piccolo is training alone, the humans are training on Kamis, and Raditz is just training with Goku. At first the training would be hard for them, because Raditz would just be owning Goku every time, but eventually Goku will slowly start to catch up. And at some point, I do see Raditz going into Kami's lookout to take on all the Z Fighters at once, because Goku would not be enough of a challenge for him. Raditz will also make sure Yajirobe trains hard, assuring him that he will die if he doesn't, because if you remember, in the original, Yajirobe barely trained, he mainly just spent his time eating. Goku will probably be getting the biggest boost, while Raditz will be getting the lowest. The reason being is, Goku is far weaker, so he's not that good of a partner for Raditz, and Raditz is far stronger, so he can push Goku a ton. I won't tell you Raditz's power levels yet, but here are the power levels for everybody else after the 8 months. Goku is a 5,000, whereas Piccolo, Tenshinhan, Krillin, Yamcha, and Chaozu are all at the same power levels that they were in the original. But Yajirobe is a little bit higher because he's actually training. I'll put them all on screen now. So now, let's finally get into the Saiyan battle. So after all the training is done, the Saiyans arrive, and instead of letting them rampage in the cities like the original, Raditz arrives and quick wings off a blast Nappa sent, telling them to take it elsewhere where no one will be hurt. Vegeta complies, and they move to a wasteland area. All of the Z Fighters arrive along with Piccolo. Since Goku is alive, he is already at the scene. All of them are suppressed at first, and Nappa plans to Cybermen to test their powers. For some reason, on the scouter, Raditz seems weaker than he did the last time they saw him. And so, Vegeta laughs at him about how traveling to Earth was a terrible idea and how weak his brother was. The Cybermen sprout, and Raditz decides to take them all on. He easily dispatches them all and smirks, spouting how he isn't the same weakling barely stronger than a Cyberman that he was before. Nappa isn't shocked. He knew there wasn't a way for Raditz to regress. Vegeta tells Nappa to go after Raditz. Raditz has to suppress himself, but he manages to barely outpace Nappa. Raditz punches Nappa back, so Nappa retaliates by using the giant storm technique, bursting Raditz into the air, to which Nappa appears above him and slams him down. After hitting the ground, Raditz fires a double Sunday at the Saiyan in the air. Over the course of the fight, Vegeta detects Raditz's power level increasing. Eventually, Nappa's armor is almost wrecked, and the battle is near its end. And Nappa asks the sacred question.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level?
The Saiyan Prince takes off the scouter and crushes it in his hands, exclaiming that it's over 19,000. Nappa screams that it's impossible and that the scouter's busted, but from there Raditz looks at Vegeta and tells him that he's done playing games. He wants to fight the prince. Nappa yells that he can't just leave the fight like that, and so Goku signals for Goku and the others to handle Nappa. They all team up on the damaged Saiyan, as the strongest of them, being Raditz, takes on Vegeta. Goku chuckles and reminds Piccolo not to die, or the Dragon Balls will be unusable, to which Nappa is curious about. Vegeta scoffs and says that he had hoped this could happen, so he could eradicate such a disgrace himself. The prince asks Raditz what these Dragon Balls even are, to which Raditz gloats that they can grant any wish he wants. but that it was too bad Vegeta didn't have them for himself. The prince laughs and suppresses himself just so he won't instantly kill Raditz. But throughout the course of the fight, his power races upward toward his full capacity of 30,000. The Z Fighters do quickly beat Nappa, but leave him knocked out and incapacitated on the ground. Vegeta and Raditz spar a bit with punches and kicks, but Vegeta keeps seeming to beat Raditz in every clash they have, even knocking him into a mountain. Raditz rushes back in and kicks Vegeta, but over time, the battle is in Vegeta's favor. Eventually, Vegeta has gotten sick of fighting such a lowly warrior and flies into the air, charging a Gallic gun. Goku exclaims, asking what that attack is. Raditz tells him that he's seen this move before and charges a stronger version of a double Sunday that he has created over the course of the 8 months. Vegeta then yells, "Fire!" letting the beam loose, and Raditz fires his blast as well. The prince's ultimate technique pushes Raditz's beam against him. Raditz sees that he's going to lose, but just as he thinks that, he hears a familiar voice next to him yelling Kamehameha, which is none other than Goku, who aids Raditz in this clash. They are getting pushed back, but less so now. The rest of the Z Fighters see this, and Krillin decides to show off his new technique he developed through training, and throws a Destructo Disc at Vegeta. Vegeta backs away to dodge it, but since he went to dodge, he is distracted, and the Kamehameha Double Sunday combo overtakes Vegeta by a long shot. Raditz and Goku pant heavily, and Krillin wants to celebrate, but Raditz says he knows Vegeta won't go down so easily. And wouldn't you know it, he's right. Vegeta stands back up and creates a power ball, screaming about how he will just have to become an Uzaru to win. This transforms both him and Raditz, and the two Saiyans are both damaged, but Vegeta is still stronger, and he doesn't relent against Raditz. Goku yells for Krillin to try the disc attack again, and so he does so, throwing another Destructo Disc, but Vegeta just jumps over it and scratches Raditz's leg instead. This is when the gang realizes Yajirobe is not there, and they really need him. But that's when Yajirobe does arrive, and the others tell him exactly what he needs to do. He then takes his katana and slices the Uzaru's tail off. Vegeta falls to the ground and Raditz crushes him, still being an Uzaru. Goku then fires a blast to destroy the fake moon, sending Raditz into his original state as well. Vegeta slowly gets up as Raditz falls down, heavily damaged. Vegeta goes to fire a blast at Raditz, but Goku takes it himself. He and the other Z warriors rush at Vegeta, who is only barely able to withstand them all at once. The Saiyan Prince manages to burst Goku off of him, and rushes at Krillin for messing up his blast before. He throws a damaging punch straight to his face, but Yamcha uses a Spirit Ball to knock Vegeta off guard, and in the end, Vegeta is on the ground just like every other warrior. Goku is telling Vegeta that he needs to leave or he will die. He also wakes up Nappa and tells him that he needs to go as well before Raditz gets up and attacks them. Both Saiyans leave in their pods, and after hearing about the Dragon Balls, they have a new goal. In terms of the Z Fighters, the gang is damaged and Raditz has just gotten back up. Goku tells them that they need to go to Korin's to get Senzu beans. They do so, and then Kami calls Piccolo to him, who tells the others that they need to go on the lookout. Kami tells them that the Saiyans found out about the Dragon Balls and the Namekians, and he doesn't want his home to be wrecked by them. And Raditz would realize how stupid it was to gloat about the Dragon Balls. The gang gets ready to go over the next month, but Raditz has an idea. They're going to be fighting Vegeta and Nappa again at some point, and last time, they got lucky. Raditz suggests to Bulma that she turn his pod from when he landed on Earth into a small ship with a gravity chamber, like on his home planet, so he and Kakarot can train quickly to get up to Vegeta's level while still traveling to Namek. The rest of the gang will travel in Kami's ship, including Piccolo, as Piccolo would want to see his home planet as well, and he promises not to hurt anyone if he doesn't have to, as Vegeta and Nappa are the first-hand goal. So everyone prepares over a month's time to go to Namek, and that's where we're going to end this part for now. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this second part in the series. It was very anticipated by all the people who liked it and commented, that they just wanted another part. And special thanks to Super Savage 789 for doing this animation you saw in this video. He is a great YouTuber, and he is just about my size in terms of subs. But yeah, so go support him on his channel. But as always, tell me if you enjoyed this part, tell me what you think will happen next time, comment your requests for future videos, and like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.